Hi, I'm C.C. Péan, and this is Reclaiming Your Health. Good evening and welcome, everyone. I am C.C. Péan, and this is Reclaiming Your Health. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I'm always tickled pink that you all, tickled chocolate, that you all take the time to tune in and see what we're talking about and learn some tips. I was just talking off camera with Stan Mackey about what I'm doing here and what our purpose is for doing Reclaiming Your Health. And I just want to speak a little bit about that. Our purpose is to teach you how to feed your body, to give your body nourishment in such a way that you are not processing processed foods and sodium-packed foods and things that are going to drain your energy and not allow you to operate on your best level. And I have found that when I eat clean, pure food, I operate at a better level. I'm able to hear the Lord clearer. I have much more energy. I can wake up in the morning for Bible study. All these things are key. So when we're doing this, the reason we're doing this is not just to give you recipes, but it is about contributing to an abundant life. So I want you to keep that in mind as we go through these recipes week after week. This evening, we are making sweet and spicy jerk mushroom tacos. And there's so many great things about this recipe. So the first thing is we're using a blend of mushrooms. I've got portobello, I've got shiitake, I've got oyster, I've got chanterelles, and I've got trumpet mushrooms. All of these are going to go into our meat mixture along with bell peppers, onions, garlic. Here's the other great thing about this dish. Not only are we going to have corn tortillas, but if you're somebody who wants to stay away from corn and you want to just like super power your meal, like make it super nutrient dense and have energy off the Richter, we have collard green tortillas. Okay, now there's a couple things you can do with this. You can eat them on their own, filled with the mushrooms, or you can even layer these on top of your corn tortilla and then put the mixture in. Did you know that collard greens are literally one of the healthiest greens out there? Yes. And so that's what we're going to do this evening. And it's not difficult. I have gone to stores and I have seen collard greens like this big. So you literally can get 2 or 3 off of one leaf. You can make them really small, like street tacos, whatever you choose. My leaves are about this big. All you do is you throw a little salt in your water, you get your water to a boil, you dip this in the water, and as long as it takes you to dip it, you take it out. You let it drain on some paper towel or over a rack, and then simply cut the shape that you want. Or you can just cut off the stem and keep it like this, but I like to keep it in the shape because I like to layer my tacos sometimes. So the stars of this dish are our mushroom medley and our collard greens and Cabbage Maroon Maple Jerk. You can use this or you can use regular jerk powdered seasoning or another jerk paste. It won't taste like this, but you're welcome to try something different. So let's get started because these mushrooms actually are going to take a while to cook. So what we want to do, I don't know if you all are aware, but there are these things called gills on the inside of portobello mushrooms. You want to take those out because those tend to get a little slimy. So all you're going to do is take your spoon and you're just going to run along the inside and they're going to pop right out. Okay. So we've gotten rid of those. A little bit of a mess here, but always take those out. And I'm gonna cut these kind of thick because I don't want my mushrooms to disappear on me. Now, something else you all should know about mushrooms, I think I shared this with you. When you store your mushrooms, you should always store them in a paper bag, not plastic. Paper allows them to breathe and they will last up to 2 weeks longer than if you keep them in plastic. They're not going to last long at all. So put them in a paper bag. So I just cut the top off of my trumpet mushroom and I'm going to cut up the top. I'm going to save the bottom for a little later. These are going to go in that same bowl with the portobello and then the shiitakes. I'm going to cut these. You know, and I hear people say they don't like mushrooms. There are so, because of the texture, there's so many different textures. If you don't like mushrooms, I really challenge you to go try different ones. You all, one of the first shows I did, I made a Popeye's chicken dupe with lion's mane mushrooms. Those are incredible, and they definitely have a different texture. So I'm just cutting these up kind of coarsely, not fine. And then we've got some chanterelles I'm gonna cut up. Throw them in there. So we've got all kinds of textures and all kinds of flavors going on. Now, if you don't like jerk, if you're not partial to that, you can always season this up like you would chicken. You can use poultry seasoning. You can use taco seasoning if you want to. There's so many different ways. You can even take it like an Asian angle and use, you know, some fresh ginger and garlic and a little bit of low sodium soy or some low sodium teriyaki sauce and a little bit of sesame oil. There's so many different directions you can go. Okay, and so we have the root here, and I'm gonna take my fork and I'm just gonna go like this to help break it down. This is actually a mushroom that actually takes some time to cook. And so we're helping by shredding it. Some people do this afterwards, but I'm doing it beforehand. And I'm dropping that in here. Some people say that this has like a chicken texture to it. All right. So we've got our mushrooms prepped. And we're gonna go over to the stove and get those started. All right, we're at the stove. Let's see, angle this down a little bit. There we go. So we've got our mushrooms. We've got some onions, some sliced, like a half of an onion. It doesn't matter, red, yellow, white. I don't really, that doesn't serve a big purpose to me. Whatever onions you have works. We've got some beautiful bell peppers. They're gonna go in there. And we've got some garlic, some minced garlic. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little oil in the pan. Now, mushrooms suck up oil. That's something to keep in mind. So how we're gonna get around that is we're gonna add a little liquid to it. And I'm just tossing everything in at one time. And we're just gonna get this started. This might even look to you all kind of like a fajita filling. I mean, this is so delicious right here. You don't even have to add the mushrooms. If you're somebody who doesn't like mushrooms, you could just do these beautiful veggies all on their own. So we're letting that cook up a little bit. Just gonna let it a little bit These don't have to break down that much because they're going to be cooked for a bit with some liquid, so they're going to soften. Okay, now we're adding our mushroom mixture to the pan. Now mushrooms spring water themselves, so we're not going to add too much, but we are going to add some. So again, we have portobello, we have shiitake, we have oyster, we have trumpet, and I cut these kind of big because we want a nice substantial filling. Now, not only do mushrooms taste great, but they have antioxidants, which are great. And if you know how antioxidants work, they fight against free radicals. And they help maintain a balance in our system. There's so many things during the day that you're just out and about, and free radicals are just in the element, the environment, things we're eating. So it's good to have a healthy dose of antioxidants. Antioxidants keep you from having oxidative stress. And oxidative stress tears your body down. Okay. So this is going. It's smelling great. This would also be delicious if you put some like fresh herbs in here, like some fresh thyme. I love thyme. I'm an island. That's the island girl in me. I love fresh thyme. I put thyme in everything. I even put thyme in some sweet recipes sometimes. All right. So to this, I'm going to add maybe about a quarter cup of water. And I'm going to cover this. I've turned the heat down a bit. And I'm just going to let that kind of steam through. Now, let me move this over. I'm going to put this on just in case some of you are curious on how to do the collard green. I'm going to warm the water back up, but we're going to switch again and we're going to get started on our mango salsa. All righty, are we back? Perfect. Do a little cleaning up here. So we've got mango salsa. We got a whole mango that I cut around the seed. We've got jalapenos, some diced red onions, some scallion. Did I say cilantro already? We've got some lime. All of this is going to go into our delicious salsa. And you all know I'm greedy, and you know I like to have layers of flavor. And I maintain what? What do I always say? If you've got layers of flavor, the less salt you're going to need. You're not going to need it. You're simply not going to need it. The salt will be just the finishing touch. All right, so we've got our mango. Still get pretty good mangoes, still available. And I didn't dice it. I just kind of like chop these up. You can go in a really fine dice if you want to. I've got some jalapeno here that I have de-seeded. I took the seed out of it. You do not have to use jalapeno. You can add a dash of cayenne if you want. You can add some red pepper flakes. Whatever you do, take out the seeds unless you can handle it. I can't. I used to be able to eat stuff so much hotter. And now I can taste black pepper when it's used. It's the craziest thing. I used to have such a tolerance for pepper. I guess that's what happens when you get older. You have less tolerance for foolishness, less tolerance for pepper. Maybe that's what it is. So I'm going over this and I'm mincing this because I want this throughout the salsa. I don't want big chunks of jalapeno. I want it to all kind of go together. And I'm not going to use all of this either. I've got a nice little mince there going on. And I would say this is about a teaspoon's worth. All right. To this, we're going to add our minced onion, a couple tablespoons of minced onion. We're going to add some scallion to it. And some cilantro. Because you can't have, well, I guess you can have salsa without cilantro. But I don't do salsa without cilantro. You can also do this with pineapple. You can have pineapple take the place. You can have peaches take the place of your fruit. Any sweet fruit. Stone fruits are really good in salsa. It's kind of an unexpected but delicious twist. And we want to mince, we want to kind of like really chop this up. We don't want big pieces, again, of cilantro in here because we want it to be evenly distributed. Let me check on my mushrooms. These are looking really good. Turn that up a little bit. Okay. Our cilantro is now going into our salsa. Just gonna mix it up a little bit. This is sweet and spicy and fresh. I'm gonna take a little bit of lime. I actually like to put a little lime zest in. So let me do that before I squeeze it. The lime zest just gives it a unique flavor, not too much, just a little bit. Okay, and now a squeeze of lime. Stir that up. Okay, and now we're going to do our sprinkle of salt. There we go. So our salsa, taste it. Ooh, that's yummy. If I do say so myself. Okay, people, we're gonna go back over to the stove because I'm gonna show you how to do these collard green tortillas real quick. All right, so our water is boiling. I've got a towel that I'm setting down with a rack right over it. Let me show you how easy this is. Literally, you're gonna do this. You just dip it in the water and take it out. Put it on your rack. Now, the reason we don't want it to stay in there too long is we don't want it to tear. And with doing this, all we're doing is we are breaking down the cell walls of the collard green so that it is more bioavailable. So you're gonna get more nutrients. And to be honest with you, like, who wants to chew on a hard collard green leaf? I don't. Maybe a rabbit, but I don't. All right. So it's literally that simple, folks. Water off. We push this back. Bring our mushrooms back over. Let's check and see how they're doing. So they've reduced quite a bit. They've broken down. Okay, look at that. So now is the part that we're going to set. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use something else. I truly believe that my product is best, but I'm in New Orleans and I'm going to use Langostine's has their own Jamaican jerk seasoning. It's actually pretty good. And I'm just going to sprinkle that. It's got some heat to it. So I'm going to sprinkle a generous amount. And now that I've uncovered it, the water is drying out some. Got a generous amount of the jerk. If you were using my product, you would just shake it up and squirt it on and allow it to just kind of dry up a little bit. Dry up and dry out. Because what happens with my product is that it caramelizes. Well, since we're using the other product, what I have is a couple tablespoons of agave that I'm pouring over the top. And I'd like to use something sweet because it is spicy, but there's something about the sweetness that takes off of some of that spice. Kind of like a hurt so good type of thing. All right, people. Our braised jerk mushrooms are done. Look at that. They're done. So let's get ready to plate. Put it all together. We're going back over to the island. Now, I suggested there are a couple different ways we can do this. Let me move this down so I can bring that over. Let's clear up. Clear up on the cook. And I don't know if I mentioned this, we've got this beautiful red cabbage that I shredded very finely. And the reason I did that is we love the taste of cabbage, but it's so, it's very crunchy. It can be kind of hard. So how do you put those things in dishes in a way that's enjoyable? And my thing is I make sure it's sliced very, very thin. And so one of my best friends is the mandolin. I actually forgot one thing. So I'm a California girl, and I would swear that like I'm Mexican. I love Mexican food. I love tortillas, I love enchiladas, I love all that stuff. One of the things I like to do when I prepare my tortillas is I like to warm them on an open flame. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take a couple of these. Stanley, you're gonna kill me, but we're going back over to the stove. And I'm gonna show you how I do this. I love it. Now you've gotta watch them. You've gotta watch them. But I love to do this because it really kind of, the corn flavor just really comes through, and there's like this nice smokiness to it. So, and this only works if you have a gas stove. But I love doing this. Just a few seconds, like maybe 10 seconds. And you see that nice char on the edge? Ah, yummy. Just do it a couple times. Okay, there's one. Let's do the other one. And it helps make it more pliable too. It makes it more soft. And so if you are going to serve this and not right away, then you just stack these and you wrap them in foil and they'll stay warm and they'll stay pliable. But I love those little burnt edges. All right, I promise we are done with the stove. So now let's get back over. I'm just gonna set up my all righty. This is about to be gooder than a good. All right, so we've got our mushrooms, and let me actually taste to see how they are. Very nice. Could actually use a little salt. We haven't used any salt yet, so that's okay. We're just gonna sprinkle some across the top. This could actually use some more jerk that I'm gonna add. It's a little more jerk powder. This is a salt-free jerk, by the way, so if you all are freaking out, you don't need to. Just gonna mix that up. So the first one we're gonna do is let's do a layer. So we've got our lovely grilled taco. We're gonna add the collard green on top of it. To that, we're gonna add some of our maple jerk braised mushrooms with the bell peppers and the onions and all that goody good stuff. And to that, let me get my avocado ready because I told you guys I'm a California girl and I do not play with my avocado. And it's a perfect avocado. A perfect avocado. That's ready to go. Oh, here it is. All right, and to this, we're going to take some of our finely shredded cabbage. We're going to put that right on top. How beautiful is that? And you're going to have so much texture going on there. Let's see. Let's do our avocado next. Avocado next. And last, but definitely not least, mango salsa. Is that a beautiful plate or what? This is heart healthy deliciousness. This is eating the rainbow folk. So that's a layered tortilla. So we have the corn underneath, and then we have the collard green on top. Of course, you can do the collard green all by itself, or you can do the corn tortilla all by itself. Now, one of the good things about this collard green tortilla, the way I did it, when you quickly blanch it, it still is like pretty strong. It's not going to fall apart. That's why you literally want to put it in the water and take it right out. You don't want it to sit in there. Don't do it when you're going to get distracted and you're not able to see what's going on, or you're going to walk away or whatever, and you come back and it's going to be like paper. You literally get that water boiling, put it in there, and take it out. That's all you're going to do. So now we've got this one, and I like the stem because the stem adds some crunchiness, and so much of the nutrition in greens are in the stem. So you want to keep that. And here we go with our cabbage again. I mean, when we just talked about eating in such a way that our body performs at an optimal level, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. I'm going to put avocado across the top. And we're going to use some more of our salsa. Remember what I told you? You can use pineapple, you can use peaches, you can use nectarines. All of those things go great. A little bit of scallion again. And so this is literally, I know I encourage you all to eat things as close to its natural state as possible, nothing processed. This is what I'm talking about. The corn tortilla, it's simply processed, it's not bad, but this is optimal. So it's like good, better, best. So ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. These two beautiful plant-based, sweet and spicy mushroom tacos. Doesn't it look good, Yolanda? And it's so easy to make. And I really encourage you all to try different things with mushrooms. You know, you can even do these mushrooms in the oven and you can dry them out. So they start kind of with liquid and then they dry down. This may not work for some people because it's, you know, it does end up having that mushroom texture that a lot of people don't like. And again, like I was saying, you don't even have to use mushrooms. You can just do your peppers and your onions and, you know, celery, and you can do all kinds of, there's so many different things you can do to make a delicious taco. And hey, it's Taco Tuesday. How apropos is this? I swear I didn't do this on purpose, but it's Taco Tuesday. Andre, I think you're gonna love it. Next time I'm home, I will make these for you. But this is our taco. I mean, it is so beautiful, and it's so important to fix things that look good, especially when they're totally different from what people are eating, because they'll see this and they'll say, I'll try it, because it is so beautifully plated. So keep that in mind when you do your dishes. Thank you for joining us this week on Reclaiming Your Health. We will see you next week. Here's to health. Bye-bye.